Hello, I'm Di Roberts from the Insight School of Art, and I'm going to show you some simple drawing exercises, and I hope you enjoy them. Okay, I'm going to show you how to draw feet. Feet from the front, very simple. It's a wedge shape coming down from the ankle, and then you can break up into the toes. Quite a simple shape. You can start to shade, you can put a wedge shape shadow down the side. The wider the better at the front, and whether there's a shoe on it or not, it's the same accurate wedge off to one side. And you can see exactly that is a foot coming from the front, and from the side it's a very simple, similar feel of this wedge, a block of shadow going across like that, and then the top of the foot, and the toes coming out towards the big toe. Let's just make it a little bit more accurate. The heel tips up underneath the foot, and the sole of the foot is slightly shaped in. The big toe is obviously huge, and the little toes disappear. And if we shaded this area here, you can see it's quite simple to get the shape using these curves to draw the foot. But then again, if you want to put a shoe, any sort of shoe, you're covering up and you're flattening out. So come out a little bit beyond the toes, and we can just shade that in and go above the heel a little bit for a flat shoe. Let's just continue the shading underneath, and you can see the idea of a flat pump. We'll put a bit of shading under the sole there. Quite simple, nothing too complex, until you get to the sort of draw a foot where you want to have this sort of shape, where you've got the big toe, you've got the bounce under the foot, you've got the heel. And this works well when you're drawing from an image or from a model. Don't make anything up, draw exactly what you see. And it's quite a nice way of practicing your drawing as well, to get this lovely shape underneath the foot. And then start to shade, get rid of the outside line, loosen up the shading as you come in across the foot. Don't have a very dark edge to it, have a dark shadow, so the line disappears, becomes part of the shading underneath. And this foot needs toenails because we're working accurately. Let's just keep on shading to try and get the idea of flesh looking like flesh. How to draw a foot from underneath is a slightly different technique, and it's absolutely fascinating. You need to get a friend to take their shoes off, and you'll find as you're drawing, you're thinking this is like a creature from outer space. It's so odd and beautiful at the same time. The shapes are just fascinating. The gap between the toes, the wobbles, the dents, the huge curves, and then watch this, it goes right under and comes out again a little bit for the heel. And you can play with that shape, you can add some shading, you can darken bits up, and you'll see what I mean about an alien shape. It really is so beautiful that you wouldn't really consider what it is. You're just drawing the shapes that you see in front of you. Don't make anything up. Lots of shading. Soften off the shading with a bit of finger shading if you want, just finger smudging. Each toe has got a life of its own, and from underneath the foot is really just so beautiful if it's nice and clean like this one is that I'm drawing. Let's just smudge those out a little bit. And the shading at the side here helps to form the shape of the foot, as does a bit of shadow under the ball of the foot there. And you can almost see where the footprint comes from once you put this shading in, because there's no shading at all under the sole of the foot there, and there's some under the ball of the foot but not much, so you can almost imagine how this is pressing down onto the ground to give a footprint shape because of this edge bit here. Let's just get rid of that dark outside line again and soften it all off with a bit of finger shading, finger blends. You can use an eraser to clean up the light areas if you want. And just to give you an idea of where it goes from here, it obviously shoots off into the background where the rest of the body is. The rest of the leg is resting up there. You can't see any toenails from this angle, so there's no fiddly little bits to worry about. And it's a beautiful, clean, smooth foot. And that is how to draw a foot from underneath.